Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, we're talking unintended consequences with Matt Harris of Street Commercial Real Estate. He's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Life just feels harder these days. Our governor, Joe Lombardo, gets that. That's why he's fighting to improve lives right here in Nevada. We want to provide for our families. Governor Lombardo cut regulations that help bring over 84,000 new jobs here, while also fighting to lower the cost of housing. And his crime bills have made our neighborhoods and schools safer. We can't control the global economy, but Governor Lombardo is fighting to improve lives here in Nevada. Thank you, Governor Lombardo.
2025 is bringing big changes for Nevada businesses. If you have more than 5 employees and have been operating for 3 years or more, you must now comply with new state retirement plan mandates. The Vegas Chamber 401k plan makes it easy, offering a proven, customizable, and cost-effective plan for employers and employees to save with tax advantages. Visit vegaschamber.com to explore options and see how the Vegas Chamber can help you start saving for your future.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome to the program for the first time Matt Harris. He is the co-principal and partner of Street Commercial Real Estate. Pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you, Sam.
The reason I invited you was because in a posting on social media, you brought up a phrase that Carol Villardo used to use on this program for many years from the Nevada Taxpayers Association, unintended consequences. First of all, explain what your company does, and then tell us about the unintended consequences of what just recently occurred.
Sure. Street Commercial Real Estate is a full-service commercial real estate brokerage and management company. We help companies buy, sell, and lease commercial real estate, including relocations, new companies to the area. And so we were in the process of helping a company expand their footprint here and take on some new and additional space. And that was right during this moratorium vote that the city of Reno had. And the very
on the
next
data
day,
centers.
Yes, on the data centers, excuse me. And the very next day, we got a call from the client saying that they weren't comfortable with the expansion plans going forward due to this vote.
Because
they were worried about what signals that it sent to the marketplace and how it could affect their business long term, even though they weren't directly related to the data center business.
Okay, and what did they feel? And I'm asking simple questions here, but these are questions that need to get out so the public understands the unintended consequences. What were those concerns?
Uncertainty. It boils down to uncertainty. Not knowing what the playing field will look like and what, if they're willing to nix one whole sector of the market, what else is next? And companies don't like uncertainty. They like to know what the plans are going forward.
How has business been the last couple of years?
It's been good, but definitely a slower pace.
Okay.
The Northern Nevada market is driven heavily by California, the Inland Empire, Los Angeles, and they have been slow due to a couple of different factors, and that carries over to Northern Nevada.
Okay. when in political conversations, we always hear, for the most part on the conservative side, that the regulations, et cetera, in California are so bad that companies and individuals are just, flooding out of the state. Is that what you've been seeing, and has that slowed down? And if so, why?
It's a combination of regulation and price. So if the price is low enough, we can almost withstand any type of regulation. You can deal with it. There's ways around it. You can time it. When the price gets to a point where you can no longer do both, then you look at moving. And Northern Nevada's been able to take advantage of that for decades, and that's what brought my family here in the early '80s from the Bay Area. So there's two parts of that. Now, when prices started to fall in the Inland Empire and the Bay Area, companies are still dealing with the regulation, but it's not that much of an advantage to move here any longer. And so you take away one of our bullets.
Okay, what pricing dropped? Was it the cost of housing?
The cost of occupancy for commercial real estate,
Okay.
mostly on the industrial side.
Okay, and that was due to,
Tightened, constrained supply
in what areas?
in Northern Nevada, Reno, Sparks.
Oh, so our costs were going up here.
Yep.
Okay, so good news, bad news.
Yeah, right. If you own real estate here, commercial real estate, you've done wonderfully. You've had some of the highest rental increases in the country for quarter after quarter after quarter, and now you've seen a cooling off because we've reached a level or a plateau of pricing that is in comparison to what companies can pay in the Inland Empire.
Okay, for those that are not aware, the Inland Empire is to the east of LA.
Correct.
And it's where lots of people move when they couldn't afford LA.
Absolutely.
And now you have places that are just jam-packed with people. It's also a great venue for tourism for Southern Nevada. And that's where they're building a train that's going to pass through Victorville on its way to Southern California, Southern Nevada, I should say. But it's a huge and growing market, and very crowded, and the roads are crazy.
Yes.
And, my granddaughter lives in Temecula.
Okay. Yeah.
Never
you're
fun
familiar.
to drive through Temecula.
No. I last time I drove through was down into the desert, and just get to see every time I go down there and see the what is continually being built, and how far they're spreading out. And that's all for one reason. They can't find things close enough to the port. Companies move farther and farther away, and that's even going all the way up the corridor up into the Bakersfield area and those areas. And that's what's fueling Las Vegas's growth on the industrial and warehouse side as well.
So as you look at Northern Nevada, what do we need to do, if we need to do anything, to be able to make ourselves more accessible to California businesses that want to escape this crazy regulation state?
We need to stay competitive.
And how do you do that?
We need to stay competitive by being aligned in our communities and having one message. We spent a decade or more building a business-friendly environment and a messaging that was going out, starting back with Governor Sandoval. And I feel like over the last maybe 1 or 2 years, we've gotten away from that a little bit in some of our communities. And I think that if we can have an aligned message and a target for companies, and the messaging that says, hey, we are open for business and we have space for you and we will accommodate you, we will help train your employees. We have a great community that they'll love being a part of. And also the whole side of, we need to get some of this land back from the federal government so we can continue to grow our community in a smart way, and so we can stop some of the sprawl.
Okay, so we know that Sparks is pretty close to being, completely out of land. Reno, not that much better. A lot of land in Story County, Lyon County, etc. Congressman Amadei has fought for years to try and get more land released, and, it's been politics more than common sense that has gotten in the way of that. Do you see any of that changing?
I hope. I have a hope. I've been working on that same thing for about 10 years. I belong to the NAIOP, Northern Nevada, and we've been beating that drum for a very long time, and we've had different conversations with Congressman Amadei, and look forward to continuing that discussion with whomever takes over for him, and trying to just shed light on why the land is needed. It's not a huge grab. You know, I'm an outdoorsman. I grew up here. I like to go out, be outside, and enjoy the open spaces that we have here. But there are some really critical areas that seem so easy for us to take over and grow smartly, and that will really help us kind of move into the next generation of the Reno Sparks and Northern Nevada.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back. A lot more with Matt Harris here right after this timeout.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Matt Harris. He's the co-principal and partner of Street Commercial Real Estate. And I came across him because he posted on social media about the message that was being sent by this opposition to data centers through these moratoriums that are not only going on in Reno, but there's discussion in Sparks. Boulder City has now got one going. Henderson is talking about it as well. I think that there's a great deal of misinformation that's out there that is casting negative aspersions on these data centers. People really don't understand what they are. The irony is that they are posting their complaints on social media, which is run through data centers. They're also watching streaming services and a gazillion other things. Beyond that, it is such a huge business. If you look back at old Nevada Newsmakers with Lance Gilman on the program, and he talks about Switch and how he first got involved with them, that he talks about the secrets of the world are contained in these data centers, which is amazing. Okay, going back to releasing land. So one of the things that comes up every once in a while, certainly in Las Vegas, but here as well, and I don't know if it applies to commercial real estate as well as housing, but infill. Is there land available for infill projects within Reno Sparks, or is that something that we just need additional land?
Sure. Yeah, there's infill land available, and take this the data center on Keystone. Infill land, city owned it next to a rail, wasn't going to be used by anybody else. They couldn't get anybody to do any other projects there. We had a client that looked at that land 10 years ago and decided not to do a project there. And it's an infill piece, and they built a data center on it, and now you have people protesting out front on the sidewalk. And so it seems like no matter what, people aren't happy with just development in general. I don't understand it fully, but
well, okay. So I mean, let me play both sides of the fence here. I mean, there is certainly a situation where people come to Nirvana and they want to close the door behind them. I mean, that was been the story in California. It's a story in Nevada. I came here in '78, and people were complaining then about those newcomers. And now, 50 years later, it's the same story. We don't want to have, our area become Californiaized. But, that's the reality. And personally, I believe that, you're either growing or you're dying. I mean, there is no holding steady.
Yeah, I don't think any community's ever been able to do that. Maybe somewhere in Europe, but that we live in this reality, and people want to be in Northern Nevada. It's an amazing place to be and grow your career and raise a family, and that's going to continue to attract people, companies, and people, and to just think that you can come in and turn the faucet off is not really an appropriate way to go about it.
Okay, so some of the things that were the attractants, tell me if they still are or if, things have changed, but it was relatively inexpensive land, relatively inexpensive power by especially comparison with California. Are those still two of the main attractions?
Those are
and low taxes, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are still really important pieces of the puzzle that companies look at. Employment base. We've done a really great job here in Northern Nevada expanding our employment base, but we are still a pretty small community. And a lot of people don't know that, I think per capita we have the most warehouse space than anywhere in the country. It's 120-ish million square feet with a population of give or take 600,000. It's an incredible stat. And so when people talk about Reno outside of this area, when they just think about it as a place to do business, they think it's this big, metroplex or a much larger city, and then they find out there's 600,000 people and the employment base isn't as deep as we think. But what we've done really good at is that employment base is really good at manufacturing, logistics, some of the things that we've been doing very well at for the last decade.
Okay, is the university system a draw as well?
I think the university system certainly plays a part on the high tech, the manufacturing side, including TMCC and the work that they've done, and the trade schools turning out people as well.
Abatements. It's interesting because once again, people don't really understand what they are. But if there are counties that are willing to wait 10 years to get the benefits of the development, they're willing to do that. Is that something that is drawing larger companies, or is that beyond the scope of what your company does?
So we help the companies with applying for abatements, but not with the actual process. So we love to work with groups like EDON and NNDA, which we're both supporters of and members of. And we let them run with that because that's their specialty. But they certainly are an icing on the cake for why companies come here. Their main reasons are the low tax bases, the business-friendly environment, the easy to do business, the lower land cost. It used to be lower construction costs, but now I think our construction costs have kept pace with maybe some larger cities like Seattle. But so those abatements come in to help fill in the gaps for companies and make it a little easier to say yes.
What about schools? Because it seems to me that was an issue that was raised constantly. Well, businesses are not going to come here. But the test scores for Northern Nevada, I think, have been very good for the last few years. Yeah. And does that ever come up as part of the conversation?
We've never had a company really get too deep into the education side of it and just kind of needing some high-level information. And Northern Nevada is always testing and showing very well in the numbers and stacks up, pound for pound against any, community in the country. So I think when you look at a statewide number, it's definitely showing different data. And so I think we focus on this area. Companies are satisfied with what's happening here.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back more with Matt Harris after this timeout.
My whole life has been public service. It's about people. And when we work together instead of yelling at each other, we get things done. We don't always get everything we want, but that's our system of government. Give and take. We don't give up. We keep working. We keep pushing. And when we break ground on Nevada's first children's hospital, when crime rates come down, and when graduation rates improve, that motivates me. That's why I do it.
We're the Peters family, 2 combat veterans, our daughter Elle, and our Liberty Dogs puppy in training, Cooper.
Cooper will grow up to be a life-changing companion to a veteran with visible or invisible challenges.
We're helping Cooper build focus and confidence so he's ready to support his veteran.
And we know he will help bring happiness and independence to his veteran's life.
So join us, become a puppy raiser, and change lives, one puppy at a time.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
At Nevada Urban Indians in Reno, your health is our priority. Our medical clinic welcomes everyone. We accept all insurances, ensuring quality care is within reach. Nevada Urban Indians, your partners in health.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Matt Harris. He is the co-principal and partner with Street Commercial Real Estate. Do you have concerns about the legislature and the upcoming session, that they may delve too far into this whole, controversy, responding to the noisiest of their constituents, rather than looking at the reality of what's going on as far as data centers go? And can we not just change the name to warehouses and be done with it?
Yeah.
Because that's what they are.
Technically are just storing data, just like...
Well, they're technically storing service, like everybody has in their house in one form or another. They have their PC or they have their laptop or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, I think that it is a concern. I think that industry is certainly lining up to try to, I wouldn't say combat, but to educate, which is more important, the lawmakers, and just show the facts. I mean, certainly, I would never sit here and advocate for just an outright build whatever you want, wherever you want, all the time.
Nobody of any common sense would do that. There has to be guidelines, but I think that the concerns, and certainly from the past situation with data centers, where they did use, an absurd amount of water, they were getting power from the grid and costing, therefore, the ratepayers money. But those things have been addressed. Now these companies are going to be forced to create their own power and generate that. And the water is now, I'm not sure the exact technical terms, but basically a closed loop system. In Story County, they're using gray water. So, I mean, the criticisms are being addressed.
Yeah, which is a normal way of how markets work. And
you would think.
Yeah, and how lawmakers, that's really their part. They're here to help keep the guidelines on things and work through the issues that arise when development comes up, and help plan our communities and make tough decisions. And the moratorium sends the wrong message. Any moratorium that's outside of where it's health and safety, immediate response needed, is the wrong message. And we have an incredibly smart planning commission, an incredibly smart council that's capable of making those tough decisions and planning around these issues to make sure that people in the community are kept safe, our resources are safe, and that we're using our land appropriately. And that's where I feel like they've made a misstep, and I wish that they would reconsider. And I don't know if there's a chance to go back to the drawing board or how quickly they can come up with these. I know it was a 1-year moratorium, but we'll find out.
Well, it seems like they're leaving it at this moment at the legislature's door. And Governor Lombardo appears to be in favor of, expanded, production and jobs, et cetera, and high-paying jobs, certainly on the construction end of things. We have not heard yet from Attorney General Ford on his position on this, and we look forward to that. And he has agreed to come on the program. So
that's great.
We're not sure exactly when he's coming on, but he's agreed to come on. And so I think that if something got passed that was negative, if Governor Lombardo is reelected, then there would be a veto there. And we'll see what A.G. Ford, is thinking about that as well. One other thing I wanted to ask you briefly was about the Reno Airport, $1 billion expansion. And anybody driving past the airport these days, as I do on the way to the post office, will see massive construction going on there. Does this make your heart sore? Sorry about the bad pun there.
No. It's amazing. We had an awesome airport before. People loved it. I always enjoyed flying in and out. We seem to have had our growth has made parking there a whole different story, where you usually would come in, find a spot, boom, boom, boom. 30 minutes later, you're sitting in your seat and off you go on your adventure. But now it takes a little bit more planning, and I think that they're trying to do their best to address that and bring us into the future, which is exciting and preparing us for having more tourism and more people visiting and more business traffic. So as much of a pain as it is driving around town, and I know this very well as somebody who just moved in from the outlying area into the core, and now I'm spoiled. I drive 5 minutes to my office, but that was a decision I made based on not wanting to sit too long and being more efficient.
Well, we appreciate the fact that you posted a lot of common sense on social media, which is how I got to come across you. And I really think that people need to be aware of unintended consequences. The idea that if you don't build data centers, your Facebook feed will just load 5 seconds slower is not the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm really worried about is it's not the companies like this that we know decided not to be here. It's the ones that we never ever will know that don't come, and that terrifies me. And so, as somebody that's been involved in the community and growth and wanting to see people benefit from these new jobs and upward mobility, not having those opportunities is the scariest part.
And that's where we have to leave it. Matt Harris, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam.
And we'll be right back.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food.
It's a good time to eat.
Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Nevada Newsmakers is available as a podcast. It's also available on YouTube anytime you want to watch or listen. Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers.